Hello, everybody, and welcome to the afternoon tune. I'm your host, Josh. Today, I got my special guest host, Christina. How's it going there, Christina?
It's going good. Going good. I've been streaming all day and I'll be streaming even more after this.
Yeah, Christina, yeah, that her handle right there, Cosmopolitics right there. Great streamer, great personality on Twitch there. She also is a part of the movie Night Extravaganza, which I've been a guest on as well there. What do you guys got coming up next?
We are doing the long goodbye. We've been doing Noir Month. We did Mildred Pierce. We did Key Largo. We're gonna be doing the long goodbye this Tuesday, and then we will be doing the Big Lebowski to close it off.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love the Big Lebowski. Okay. Out of all those, I've seen the Big Lebowski, so at least I've seen that. So that's very nice there. But since we talked about it already, let people know about you, what you got going on, everything like that coming up next, all your spaces that you're in.
Yeah. So I'm part of a left-leaning media collective called This Space. I host a show called Christina's Corner every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then at 8 o'clock. We do Movie Night Extravaganza. Forrest Miller, my co-host, and myself, we are working on The Absurdity Space, a political podcast coming in December on the space, probably Thursdays. And yeah, and of course I stream on Twitch just pretty much every day.
Sick it.
Should be fun.
Okay.
That was me doing my best Jenna Ortega covered brows.
Man, you're talking about Ghislaine Maxwell here.
Yep.
Ghislaine Maxwell, she living a better life than most people. She got a puppy. She got people serving her.
She's in like literally like the prison in Goodfellas. She's like in a wise guy's prison.
Yeah, she got
She could be
special
dealing
meals.
drugs and she literally could be trafficking girls in that prison and no one would care.
Wow, man, damn. So
Apparently Trump doesn't care.
But yeah, that's you right here there. So this is the space. It's coming up. I think this is a relatively new channel. I think it's only, I don't know how old the channel is.
We started in July.
Okay, so that's pretty good. It's pretty good traction. Already at like 2K there. 3K, I'm sorry.
So yeah, we were on the Majority Report, so we got a big boost from that. Our live election mayoral Tuesday with Mom Donnie. We had Dan from the internet interviewing people in the streets of New York, like an Irish dude, and maybe an Israeli Jew who's very much not pro-Israel. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Pretty fun.
Yeah. This is your Twitch right here. What are your Twitch days typically?
I usually stream like 7 days a week.
Wow, 7 days. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah, that is commitment right there. So yeah. So everything pretty much Cosmopolitics there. All the socials, Cosmopolitics, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, all that good stuff there. You can see here on the space there, which is right here, this space right here on YouTube, and then also Movie Night Extravaganza right here. Very nice there. And Long Goodbye is the next movie that you guys will be reviewing. Who's the special guest for that one?
I think Josh Dugan, I believe, who hosts quite a few other podcasts. We've had him on quite a few times.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. I think, the name sounds pretty familiar. I think I've seen him on the show before. Okay. Yeah. Very dope there. And future streams for me, I'll be streaming Monday. I'll be with Sage from Rated M for Immaturity, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be doing a review we got that new Vince Gilligan show, Pluribus, got that. Then we're going to do a review for Running Man 1987, since the new Running Man is out right now. And then I think maybe he'll have something video game wise and some anime stuff there. Wednesday, I'll be joined by Neil from oneofus.net. And then Neil, well, since Thanksgiving is going to be coming up, do a review for Thanksgiving movie Spider-Man, do a review for Spider-Man this Wednesday. Then next Friday, or this upcoming Friday, hopefully Dust, my regular co-host, can join me. We'll be doing a review for Wicked for Good. Wicked for Good's coming out next. That's why we're doing Wizard of Oz today. And then also I'll have a review for Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I'll have a review for that. And then I think that's pretty much the big movie out next week is Wicked for Good. So that's pretty much the big thing there. So everything's clearing the way for that, and that's kind of going to rake in a bunch of money. I think what's coming out around Thanksgiving weekend. I think there's something else I'm missing that's supposed to be pretty
Ugh,
big Thanksgiving weekend.
I
Um,
forgot, but
yeah, I
it has
know.
it has to compete with Wicked for good. That's what I know.
Yeah, how much did the first Wicked make? Do you remember?
It made like half, not even. It made. I think it made like 400 million, 500 million, or something. It made almost a billion. Like it, it was,
Hmm.
it was pretty big.
Yeah, you think it's gonna top that, or you think it's gonna do about the
Well, I
same, a
mean,
little worse?
it actually will do better because according to Fandango and a lot of the ticket play, like, where you buy movie tickets, they said it was the best pre-sale ticket sale like in history, and for like a movie in November. So that's pretty impressive. And
Mm,
also a lot of early reviews say that Wicked for Good is actually superior to the first one. So I'm like, oh, okay.
nice. Okay, I'm hyped. I didn't expect to love the first Wicked as much as I did, and I did greatly enjoy it. So the
Yeah,
first Wicked,
it's
um,
funny because when we had KT on to cover The Wizard of Oz, she didn't really like The Wizard of Oz because she saw it as an adult for the first time. But I would love to hear your thoughts on Wizard of Oz. But so she brought me on to because she wanted me to convince her to watch Wicked in her What If I Don't Like It podcast. She loved Wicked because she's like, it fills in so many gaps that The Wizard of Oz needs to, get filled in on. And I'm like, good. I'm glad. Read the novel. It's a lot more political and more darker and not meant for children.
mhm. So the first Wicked made $757 million.
Yep.
So and could maybe do 800 million, maybe could do a billion. I think Wicked is the highest grossing musical turn movie, right? Ever, right?
Yeah, I probably beat out Chicago, that's for sure, and Moulin Rouge. Well, Moulin Rouge was just a movie musical, but like probably we always think of Chicago as like the standard of like movie musicals.
Yeah. So I think it became the highest grossing one because yeah, Chicago only made 306 million. So
Mm.
yeah, beat it by a lot. And it's coming out on the anniversary of the first movie, which is pretty cool that I was able to keep that same slot there.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I mean, Wicked for Good is pretty much that's the big movie for November, and then December we got Avatar, and then that's going to be the big movie for December. Um, and doing that. Mm. I don't know who hates Sydney Sweeney because she's her another movie she has comes out the Handmaiden or something in December.
Yeah, it's kind of based on like my it's a weird movie that I'm like I kind of lived this movie,
Mm,
but like I mean it's got Amanda Seyfried in it who auditioned for Wicked to be Glinda, but my theory is part of the reason why Ariana Grande got the role of Wicked is like for Wicked she loves Wicked, and plus they needed someone if they're casting Cynthia Erivo who is a one in a billion talent. They needed someone who could play Glinda, who could keep up with her. And I feel like Dove Cameron, Amanda Seyfried, they can't keep up with Cynthia Erivo. Ariana Grande could, and she did.
mm. Isn't wouldn't Amanda Seyfried be too old to be Glinda?
Well, Cynthia Erivo's 40.
Oh well, yeah, I guess that's true. Well, black don't
And
crack, so I
Ariana
guess.
Grande is my age. She's a few months older than me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's, I mean, well, yeah, but yeah, Ariana Grande, yeah, she's 32, so she's 32. Oh, I didn't know Amanda Seyfried was up for it. Can she sing? Amanda Seyfried?
Well, she did Les Mis and she's in Mamma Mia, so she can sing, but I don't think her singing would be up to par with what the demands are for the Wicked score.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing with Ariana Grande, she has a good ear for mimicking people. Like she's good at impressions, she's good at singing like other people. So naturally, when a lot of people heard like the first little bit of her singing, in No One Mourns the Wicked, a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's Kristen Chenoweth. That's Kristen Chenoweth." No, she just has a knack for sounding like other singers. And so she probably had to dust off her lyric soprano because she's been doing a lot of, poppy Mariah Carey type music, and it paid off.
Mm, yeah. And one good thing about this is, I'm going to be really sad that this is going to be the last Wicked movie because there'll be no more Wicked
Well,
press tours, really.
I
Oh,
have
either.
some good news. According to Steven
Okay.
Schwartz, they might make Wicked into a media franchise of a sort.
Okay. So we gonna see
They mi-
Wicked Academy or something like that? Like,
I'm just going to assume maybe they will adapt Son of a Witch into a movie musical. I don't know if they're gonna do like the Gregory Maguire novels because the Wicked, there's a whole Wicked like series of books by Gregory Maguire. And the most recent one that's come out is about Elphaba's childhood. They have one about Wicked, Son of a Witch, one about the Cowardly Lion, and now about Elphaba's childhood. So
Okay, interesting. Do you want to see something like that? Is that something that's interesting? You think it's milking
I
the cow too much? What do you?
I mean, I wouldn't mind if they actually keep like if they keep doing it the way that John M. Chu has been doing it for Wicked. It would be fine. I mean, with Wizard of Oz, they tried doing Return to Oz, and all it did was traumatize people like Forrest growing up. So electroshocking Dorothy in the first 10 minutes of the movie, like, yeah, because she thinks Oz was real and the wheelies or really scary. And yeah, I understand why Return to Oz freaked a lot of kids out.
Oh, okay. So in return, they put
Like
her in
they
the.
if they wanted to, they could adapt some of L. Frank Baum's Oz books into TV series, miniseries, and movies if they want to, and just add songs to it to keep, because I'm pretty sure just The Wizard of Oz and Return to Oz were like the only books that were adapted into film and TV.
Hmm. And Universal owns the whole the
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz stuff, all the connections to it, or is it Wicked?
Well, I think Warner Brothers owns the rights to Wizard of Oz, and a lot of people are wondering why. I'm like, because eventually, because Turner Classic Movies, it's a Time Warner Media conglomerate too, so it owns the Wizard of Oz, so you can watch the Wizard of Oz on HBO Max. Now, that means they have the copyright of the ruby slippers, the specific color of green of Elphaba's skin. So if you wonder why like a lot of people are complaining about the cinematography in Wicked, I'm like, it's because they can't do Technicolor. I mean, it's a slightly darker, more gritty Wizard of Oz story. So I don't understand why people are bitching about the cinematography, but they're like, well, Elphaba's skin is not this bright emerald green. I'm like, because they don't have the rights to the specific green color that was used on Margaret Hamilton. And with the ruby slippers, even in the stage show, they had to get away with those silver slippers becoming ruby. How they do that? They flash a red light on those silver slippers to make them be ruby. And we'll see that again in Wicked for Good. Because a lot of people are like, where are the ruby slippers? How come they're only silver? Well, copyright, and we'll figure out why they end up being ruby and why they're so important to Elphaba.
Hmm. Okay.
Yep.
And you were on the review for Wicked. I think, yeah, you were on that review there when we did it. And what did you give it again? You gave it a peak, right? Or
Oh,
disassembly?
yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think I also gave it a peak there as well. Yeah, I greatly enjoyed it. Yeah, I liked it. So I'm looking forward to this sequel. You already got your ticket already?
Yeah, I got it like 2 months ago. I think, no, I got it the day I was able to get the pre-sale.
Okay. Is it you expect it to be everybody sold out, or you think?
From the looks of it, I think my screening is sold out at least. I mean, I don't know. I like to go to Thursday previews just because I want to be there like the first to see it, because I know spoilers are gonna get dropped, and it's just fun because there's not as many people on a Thursday, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, okay. Are you gonna dress up or no?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Are you gonna be Elphaba? Are you gonna be Glinda? Are you gonna be
I don't know yet.
okay? But yeah. So there we go. That's why we're doing it. Wicked for Good. There, we're gonna be. That's why we're doing Wizard of Oz today. That's the big movie there. My first time seeing it ever there. So do a review for that, and then of course, after as always, I'll go ahead and rate somebody. If you can give me any suggestions of who I should rate, that'd be pretty good there.
Hmm.
I see FD Signifier. He's on right now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So, but you probably have a lot of creators that you know that you're following that are probably on right now. That I
yeah.
would love to check out. But yeah. So future streams there, raid somebody after this, and just Wizard of Oz, and that's pretty much it there. So I'll go ahead
Yep.
and cue this up review, and we'll go ahead and do that. All right, let
Yeah.
me pull up my notes for this. Good old Wizard of Oz there.
Hmm.
And Christina knows all about the history of Wizard of Oz, the lore of Wizard of Oz, has read the books of Wizard of Oz. How many books are there in there?
There's quite a bit of books. I've lost count, but there's so many different Oz books that L. Frank Baum wrote. And I know his son, his kids, his grandkids, great grandkids have all like continued on the Oz legacy. Not necessarily writing books, but also highlighting the fact that there are other Wizard of Oz books. I mean, he got the name Oz from he was looking at encyclopedias, and they have like, A through D, E through, but so there was O through Z, and he came up with Oz
Mm.
as the
Okay.
name of like the place, because the Wicked novel expands on Oz and its countries and its states and cities as well. I mean, that's how Gregor Maguire came up with the name Elphaba. I mean, Elphaba is a name, but like it's not a popular name, so he thought of L. Frank Baum,
Mm.
Elphaba, for the name as a tribute to L. Frank Baum.
Okay. Very nice there. And so it
Yeah,
seems like
and
there are 14 books there, and then
yeah.
there's some other like story collections and work there of some other stuff he did.
Mhm.
Okay. So big amount of books there. All right, so let's do this. So, our first and only review of the day is going to be for the classic 1939 film, Wizard of Oz. Now, Wizard of Oz is an adaptation from the 1900 book there by L. Frank Baum there. Uh, and this details the story there of Dorothy, who's a little girl from Kansas there, played by Judy Garland, legendary actress there, who gets swept away in a tornado there and lands up in the wonderful world of Oz. Classic story. Many people have known it. People have seen this movie probably hundreds of times. How many times have you seen Wizard of Oz, Christine?
I've owned it I had it on VHS when I was a toddler. I've probably seen it like hundreds of times in my life.
Okay.
It's one of those movies that I probably watched every day as a kid, on top of
Wow.
like Barney and whatever.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, classic film. Many people have seen it hundreds of times. I have not seen this movie before, so this is my first time seeing it there. That's why I have Christina on, who is a master of the lore of Wizard of Oz and have seen this movie multiple times there. And plus also a lot of all the details of what went into getting this movie made. I mean, when you look at a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, I mean, like even that scene right there that you saw in the trailer of the snow there, which was
Asbestos.
asbestos. So that was
It's
there.
as best as can be.
So you got that going on. So all the kind of secrets there, what was going on with the Munchkins, all the stuff they faced, all the people in the
The makeup
costumes. Oh, you gonna say?
and the makeup and
Oh yeah, the
all
makeup.
that too.
Yeah, what was you had the Cowardly Lion and all this 90-pound suit there that he had heat exhaustion, all those different things there, all this kind of stress that went into making this movie making magic, this masterpiece of a movie here that is probably one of the maybe most referenced films in all of history, maybe right up there with Star Wars. It's I'd
Yeah.
say they're probably up there. Like all the things. I mean, it's been parodied so much in media there that even if you
So
like
much
me,
quotes.
so many quotes. Even if you haven't seen the movie like me, you probably know the beats of the movie, the people that she runs into, seeing cartoons like Futurama or The Simpsons or Family Guy or any of those kind of things get kind of brought up there. You might know
Mhm.
that. But yeah, it's this little girl, Dorothy from Kansas, who ends up in Oz there in a land that is in fear of the evil witch there, the Wicked Witch of the West
Mhm.
there. And she sets off on a journey with her red ruby slippers there to meet the Wizard of Oz there. And joining her in her journey, she has the Tin Man, she's got the Cowardly Lion, and she has the Scarecrow there aiding her in her journey. And we see the ultimate goal of her is to meet the Wicked Witch of the West there and to stop her there and her evil rule over the land. But maybe we see in things like Wicked that maybe the Wicked Witch of the West wasn't so bad after all, which kind of fleshes out the lore more. Um,
Yeah, they even said that Dorothy will have a bigger part to play in the movie than in the show, because we only see like a silhouette of her, like, tossing the bucket of water, and that's it. I'm like, oh, cool, good, because I mean, most of Wicked Act Two, a huge chunk of Wicked Act Two is takes place during the Wizard of Oz itself. So it's like, I mean, the movie part Wicked for Good is not as long as part one. So I'm like, whoa. I mean, they added two new songs, and the fact that they're adding more of Dorothy into it's like, okay, I'm interested. Definitely. I mean, there's an ad where you see her being taken by the monkeys. I mean, you just see her legs and the shoes, but it's like they're keeping like the image of Judy Garland as Dorothy in the story itself. I mean, we don't actually see her face, I don't think, in the movie,
no,
but
you don't.
like, which I'm like, that's good because it still keeps that like it's Judy Garland still. But I feel like the actors who played Abigail in the Abigail movie, because she was invited to a bunch of Wicked events, and she kind of has the same like figure. So she might be the stand-in. I don't know, but it would be kind of cute,
Yeah.
I
So do
think.
you think So with Wicked for Good, you don't think we'll actually get much time with the cast of like the crew of Dorothy and the Tin Man and all that? You think it's mostly just going to be regulated to seeing Elphaba and Glinda and maybe the
Well,
wizard and
I mean, we might see more of those characters because in part one, there's a lot of, you know, this person's probably gonna end up being this character in the future, in the next movie, whatever. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I mean, there's a lot of hints and things that point out like, oh, this person's gonna be this person. Oh, how did they become this person or whatever. So but I do think there's gonna be some more scenes with the Tin Man, the Lion, and the Scarecrow, because the Lion is voiced by Coleman Domingo, not James Corden, thank God.
yeah, I know some people were a little worried about that, of who it was going to
I
be.
was so worried.
But they got a good one. They got Coleman Domingo there.
Yeah.
But yes. So Christina, I mean, this is kind of your thing. I want you to gush as much as possible about Wizard of Oz. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on this?
Yeah. So the reason why we have the Wizard of Oz is because of Walt Disney. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs came out, and MGM was like, "We want to make a musical movie." And so when they found, got the rights to the Wizard of Oz, they were like, "We can do something with this. It's magical. It's got a witch. We can do something with this." Now the story goes is that 20th Century Fox had Shirley Temple. MGM had Jean Harlow and Clark Gable. They were going to do a trade-off initially, but Jean Harlow died. So the trade-off never happened, and plus Shirley Temple just doesn't have the vocals range or power to do the songs that were written by the songwriters for The Wizard of Oz. So they got Judy Garland instead because they thought she had the voice. And when it came to casting, they literally wanted Gail Sondergaard, who was this glamorous actress. They thought, we're going to make the Wicked Witch glamorous and, beautiful like the evil queen in Snow White. But they were like, no, bad witches are ugly. So they tried making her look ugly. She still looked nice. And she was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not ready I don't want to be ugly. So there was that. They ran into a lot of casting issues. They had Buddy Epson originally playing the Scarecrow. Ray Bolger was playing the Tin Man, but Ray Bolger was like, I move like the Scarecrow. So they swapped quietly without a problem. Burt Lahr was perfect for the Cowardly Lion. They thought, we got it. This is good. This is good. But the problem is that when they were initially shooting, there were so many writers, so many directors. A film like this couldn't be made today because there was like 13 writers and 5 directors, even though Victor Fleming gets the director credit because he directed most of the movie. Initially, they had Judy Garland in a blonde wig with heavy makeup on, not even like the blue colored dress. So George Cukor was in the middle of, I think, directing Gone with the Wind, because that was being filmed at the time. And they were like, yo, we need your help. Can you like direct a few days? And he's the one who made the biggest changes to Dorothy's makeup. He was like, no, this is too doll like. She's just a girl from Kansas. So they removed the makeup, removed the blonde wig, put her in cute little pigtails, and because of George Cukor, he actually made some of the biggest changes that really ended up mattering the most to the movie.
Mm. And so I showed the photos of Judy Garland with the blonde wig there. And then this is her, the classic kind of look there that you have. And with her there with Dorothy. So very much. So I see very much the difference there with the blonde wig. It does look kind of pretty bad there, I think, with the hair, with the kind of, I mean, it looks like she should be more the Cowardly Lion with I think the blonde wig there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of got that going on. But yeah, so you had that at one point. And you mentioned, so the cast there of it, you had Ray Bolger there, who's so it's dual roles. So you see the people in her life of Dorothy when she's in Kansas, who's playing kind of the regular people in her life, and then when she goes to Oz, you see where they play the characters of Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion and the witch there, Glinda as well. And you see all those people. And like I said, this has been adapted many times before. There's been even a sequel to this, Return to Oz there, and I have not also seen the sequel to it as well.
You will
There's
get
even
PTSD.
so what happens in the sequel to Return to Oz? Like, what goes on there?
I
Oh,
believe Dorothy returns to Oz. It's after the Wicked Witch is dead, and she has to like fight off like the Gnome King, who's like even more evil than the witch. If I remember, it's been a while since I've seen Return to Oz, but that's kind of like the gist of it. And she runs into TikTok and other characters that are featured in the L. Frank Baum Oz books. Like
mhm.
Oz is kind of like in disarray. Like the Yelbrook Road's all broken up. She has a chicken with Toto, a talking chicken. um,
Okay. Shouldn't she
there,
be older since this is like a sequel? Shouldn't she be older or no?
I mean, it's not the post. The thing is, it doesn't. It only takes place like a few weeks or a few months after the Wizard of Oz, if I'm
Okay,
not mistaken. So that's why.
gotcha. I see there's like a talking pumpkin in it. That seems kind of very horror esque.
Ye-
Yeah.
Yes. What's
The-
funny too is that with the casting Wizard of Oz, there was already a lot of mayhem happening. Buddy Epson, they gave him aluminum powdered makeup that actually, clogged up his lungs, so he had to get quietly replaced with Jack Haley. And it's ironic that Buddy Epson ended up he probably suffered the worst because his lungs were like, he just couldn't breathe, like the lungs were like shut. Um, he ended up dying at the age of 95. Like
mm,
in 2003, he outlived all his Wizard of Oz like co-stars.
uh-huh.
And he
Uh,
also said that was like the worst, like he said that losing out the Tin Man was like the worst, like that hurt him the most of his career.
mm,
Like he was
uh,
really looking forward to doing that.
yeah. I mean, legendary roles. I mean, a lot of these people still heavily remembered for doing these roles there. I mean, this
Mhm.
movie is part of film history there. Anytime there's any montage of film, that's always like Wizard of Oz is always going to be included. And anytime they do it in the
Gone with the
Oscars
Wind
there, Gone with the Wind as well there, which
came
Wizard
out
of
the same
Oz
year.
came out the same year, exactly, yeah, and, this was nominated in some of the same categories as Gone with the Wind there. Um,
Yeah, 1939. You had a lot of Mice and Men. Gone with the Wind, The
mm,
Wizard of Oz. There was like 1939 is considered like the best year in film history because so many hits. But The Wizard of Oz wasn't really a hit
mm,
initially.
yeah,
It wasn't
uh,
until it went on television that it had a legacy. But also too, Victor Fleming uh filmed most of the Wizard of Oz, but George Cukor and Clark Gable were having issues while filming Gone with the Wind. So Victor Fleming had to actually replace George Cukor to finish directing most of Gone with the Wind.
oh, wow, okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of swapping, a lot of
Yeah,
changes of directors and
uh,
writers.
this was also the same year, they're doing a remake of this movie as well, Wuthering Heights, they're doing that, this also came out
Yeah,
the same year as well there.
remake. I'm putting that in quotes because it's Emerald Fennell and she's known for doing filth, and I'm here for it.
But yeah, and Wizard of Oz, speaking about the Oscars there, so it was nominated for 5 Academy Awards there at the 12th Academy Awards there, including Best Picture, Best Original Song there with Over the Rainbow and Original Score there. Now it won 2. It won for Best Original Song and Best Original Score there, which I do think is amazing. I do think seeing this for the first time, even had knowing some of the songs, I think still the songs were very impressive with it,
Yeah.
and the vocal performances were very good with this. Over the Rainbow is a
Good.
very classic, legendary song, and I
And
understand why.
yeah. And Judy Garland won a juvenile back when they did juvenile Oscars. She won one for The Wizard of Oz. It was
Mm,
always like an up and coming like star award type of thing. And Mickey Rooney presented it to her because I remember if you had The Wizard of Oz on VHS in the 90s, there was a few things they had. A Downy commercial featured a bunch of kids dressing up as a Wizard of Oz, using the Downy as like their laundry detergent. That Oscar presentation of Mickey Rooney to Julia Garland, and
mm.
also a behind the scenes of the extended version of If I Only Had a Brain, and takes from the Jitterbug number that got cut from the forest.
Mm. And a big thing about this movie also is the look of it having the Technicolor type thing there. Now they did something recently with Wizard of Oz that I saw people were upset about. Like I think they
The
added somewhat.
sphere.
Okay, so saying it messed it up and it like cut off some of the stuff there with the Yellow
Yeah,
Brick Road
they
or things like that.
what they did was they just add like they use AI, a lot of AI to add like more scenery in the background. So it's like you see like very little of the head, but everything like the sky and the trees on top. And then they cut like 40 minutes of the movie, which I mean the movie's only like an hour and 40 minutes. They cut out the Lion King's second number, if I were king of the forest or whatever, which is stupid. They just cut out a lot of the dialogue, and it's like it just I saw like a bootleg of it. It just did not look good. It did not look
Mm,
good at
okay.
all.
So is it supposed to be like this visual kind of experience, like kind of surrounding you or something like that?
Yeah,
Is
you
that
get in the tornado, there's wind blowing, junk blowing on you, apples are falling down. When they're throwing apples, there's flying monkeys everywhere. It's like, ugh,
so this is like the real 4D experience, I guess. Like they're trying to bring that.
yeah.
Okay, interesting there. Um, and this is in seems like what Vegas maybe. This
Yep,
is in.
Vegas, the sphere. Yep.
It's in Vegas. I think I saw this when I went to Vegas. I wondered like what are they doing there? But
Yeah.
okay, so you got this kind of going on. And that's I guess that's a nice touch. They got the Wicked Witch of the
Yeah.
East and Fleet hanging out. Okay.
Hmm.
Where she lands there. And are they only planning to show the Wizard of Oz there, or do they plan to show other things there? Is it just for
Oh,
Wizard of
they're
Oz?
showing. I mean, other like the Backstreet Boys had a thing at the Sphere. They're thinking of doing Star Wars. Like they're doing like they have a lot of plans. If they want to make like an immersive experience with this thing, and it's like
Hmm.
okay, but I feel like it's not meant for like movies, considering it's just I don't know. A lot of people don't actually show up for the audience. Um, it's not like when the Backstreet Boys were there and it was packed.
Hmm. Okay. I imagine those tickets are probably pretty high. I imagine.
Yeah,
So you a person who has seen this movie multiple times there. Is it your favorite movie of all time?
it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's probably easily like top five for me.
Okay. And why is that? Why do you keep coming back to Wizard of Oz? What's some of the elements there?
It's hard to. I think it's just the idea of going to a place that's different. You know, that's colorful and I don't know. We all feel like we're Dorothy. There's no place like home in the end, but it's like what if I can go to a magical place and like forget about my troubles? It just brings out the inner child in me. I feel like
Mm,
it hits differently when you see it as a kid, especially. I feel like a lot of us millennials owned it on VHS, and it's a film that we've seen over and over and over again. And even the cast said like like especially when it became a success by airing it on TV like every year, like Ray Bolger and Jack Haley and all them and Margaret Hamilton, they're like, we are known for these roles alone, and that's it. And we're happy about that. It's good because kids, adults come up to us, talk about how much they love the movie. And I mean, nowadays some actors hate when they're known for like one role, but back then a lot of these actors were just character actors from vaudeville. Like they were
mm,
not gonna have range unless it was like Judy Garland who did like the Judgment at Nuremberg and Meet Me in St. Louis and The Star Is Born. So there's that. I mean, Margaret Hamilton was a character actress, a single mother, trying to support her son, and so when she got told that she was up for a role in The Wizard of Oz, she was like, "Oh my god, I love that book. What character?" And her age is like the witch. Who else? And she's like, "Okay." She's like, "Fine." I mean, poor Margaret Hamilton. I mean, she got. I mean, her grease paint had copper in it. She suffered second and third degree burns on her hand and face during a trapdoor stunt in Munchkinland. Um, her stunt double also was injured during one of the filming of On the Broomstick, where she's surrendered Dorothy. Um, but she still always spoke highly of doing that movie, and she even went on Sesame Street in makeup, and that scared kids, and that episode was banned in the vault. You can find it on YouTube. But then she was also on Mr. Rogers, where she just put on the outfit so she could show kids like I'm a character. I'm not really her, and it was really nice too, because even Mr. Rogers was like, "Oh, I wish I could do that," laugh. Like it's cute.
mm,
Yeah, there it is. When she's hanging out with Oscar the Grouch, which makes so much sense if you think about it.
mm. Yeah. And that hat is pointy on the Sesame Street there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah. But yeah. So and then you also said, yeah, Mr. Rogers, she was on as well there.
Mhm.
And got a lot of attention for that. And for so do you think that it would help greatly if you see this movie as a young kid as opposed to seeing it as an adult there, you think?
It kinda it does, because it really does resonate with a lot of people's childhood. Because even, like, Judy Garland's kids speak about, like, it brings out your inner child, um, they talk about, like, how a lot of children, because I mean, it was marketed as a children's film, um, so I feel like that's why, for some reason, just it resonates with your inner child, and I just also feel like it is one of the first movies most people remember seeing as a kid. If they were
Mm,
lucky to see it, because again, it airs on TV every year on TBS and TNT. I think it was CBS or NBC who got the rights to it in the 50s. So it's like it was always a part of like kids' pop culture throughout the decades.
okay. So me now seeing this at 30, I still can appreciate, it's always interesting going back looking at older films there. I just reviewed a much older film there, The Birds. I'd never seen that before.
Hitchcock. Ooh.
Hitchcock there. And I still could appreciate, at the time what it was of the effects there, being this type of disaster movie, having seen so many disaster movies, since The Birds, in that period of time before I actually watched it for the first time, you get like, oh, okay, I see where all those kind of get it from with this movie. And with Oz, I mean, it's a classic heroes type journey there. You have a lead character, this plucky kind of young character there, goes on this, adventure and she meets friends along the way. And then, it's
Yeah.
kind of the power of friendship there that helps her defeat the witch. And they all band together. And then all of them have like this unique thing they're searching for. The scarecrow
Mhm.
searching for a brain, and the Tin Man searching for a heart. And the
Which is
lions,
ironic considering, they all already have what they want.
yeah.
It's like,
Which is the kind of
it's
the message there, I guess, at the end of the movie where you have the wizard who tells them that it's already inside of you, of course, already there,
yeah. But here's
which
your
is
diploma and here's your clock that's heart shaped, Here's a courage medal.
good. So yeah, you have that kind of going on, which is really nice. Do you think there's seeing it so many times, do you notice anything kind of as a weak element, a part of it, or anything that doesn't hold up so much?
I mean, it's literally the perfect film. If it's I mean, if they've kept the jitterbug number in the movie, oh, it would be like Wizard of Oz did not age well, because the jitterbug is kind of has a bit of a racist background, the dance, from what I've heard. So they cut that out due to timing. There are a few things that you're like, huh, because they either cut something, and so when like the ending where she's like, "I'll miss you most of all," um, a lot of people are like, "Why would she say that to him?" It's because her and Hunk had a bit of a there was a thing going on between Dorothy and Hunk in Kansas. Like a little crush, little mutual feelings. So when she says, "I think I'll miss you most of all," a lot of people are like, "Well, that's not nice. Why would she say that?" I'm like, because there's something that they cut from the movie due to timing, like running time.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And you said also that with this, like it helps to have watched Wicked or maybe read the books to understand more of the lore there of
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz there of kind of what's going on. Why do you think it kind of helps to kind of see those things there? Like was it and read?
Because in the end, it explains why Elphaba ends up being the way she is. We all learn that, a lot of us in the end actually don't like the wizard as we're adults, and then reading Wicked's like, oh, now we know why. Because even in the Wizard of Oz book, the wizard forces people of Oz to wear glasses, emerald glasses. So that's why everything looks green.
Mm,
Like
okay.
forcibly like glue on glasses. Like it's a whole thing. Like there's a lot of stuff that the wizard does that's very not good.
Yeah. And for somebody, I talked to somebody who has read the book before and then talked about how Glinda is basically like this huge power player. Like she's doing a lot of hit jobs behind the scenes. She's, I guess, like what Kevin Spacey in House of Cards or some shit like that. Like,
It is a political novel. She capitulates to the fascists. She is a neoliberal. And Elphaba is a Marxist revolutionary. And they don't
mm,
like that. See,
mm,
the Wicked musical makes more ties in towards the Wizard of Oz, like the wizard being her dad. The Cowardly Lion. But even then, they're like, why don't we make these characters, the wizard, like these characters from the book into the characters from the Wizard of Oz, because they do exist in the Wicked novel, but they don't end up being those characters. So it's like there's some stuff that Steven Schwartz and Winnie Holzman, who made who wrote the musical, were like, we're gonna make more tie-ins towards the actual Wizard of Oz, just to make it more familiar for people who already know the Wizard of Oz. Because the Wicked novel is like this, it's thick and there's a lot of political jargon in it, which is like, yeah, you don't need to fool with that.
Mm.
But you
Okay.
do understand that Alphabet cares about animals and their rights, and that's a good, good baseline to go with.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite sequence from this Wizard of Oz film there? Is it too hard for you to pick out?
I like the tornado one just because figuring out how they made the tornado. I don't know if you know this, but they took muslin cloth and they put it on a gantry and they moved it around like in like a warehouse studio, and they were dusting it and dusting it, and they were filming it, so they were moving it around, and
Mhm.
then they added all that later. And the way they did the house is that they filmed it in reverse with the house falling
Oh, okay.
and
Interesting.
going up in the tornado. But
I mean,
yeah, I
it looks
mean,
looks
it's
pretty
cool.
good. Yeah, it looks. I mean, it's a
And
good
they
effect there. Yeah.
didn't really have much references to what tornadoes looked like.
Mm,
Like no photos, nothing. So they were just told that it was like a funnel. Like
mm,
they had like, I guess, some eyewitnesses who were like, yeah, it kind of looks like this, and it's pretty. I mean, it is a shape of what a tornado could look like.
mm. And that's kind of a sharp kind of contrast when you see, because when she's in Kansas, kind of this black and white type of look, and then when she goes to Oz, this really beautiful kind of color that kind of pops up there. So it's this really, really great contrast to that there. And it's surprised when you said that this really, didn't really pop in the box office, because it popped later in home releases, because you think that this would be kind of big with the whole kind of color aspect in that. Why do
Yeah.
you? Yeah, is there any kind of thing of speculation of why it didn't really hit so much in the box office there?
Well, since it was geared towards children, the ticket prices for kids was very cheap, and so they were not like a nickel, not even a nickel. So there was no way this was going to make a lot of money, even when they were trying to make a like adults to attract adults to this. It still didn't work. I mean, Gone with the Wind was all Technicolor too, so it was like we already have like this 4-hour drama about the Civil War. That's in Technicolor. It's adapted from a book too. We'll watch that instead. So, and I just also think that maybe there was rumors about what was going on set, like the drama and the all the the injuries, the makeup, the casting changes. I'm not sure. But also Judy Garland. I mean, Mickey Rooney was already an established star because of the Andy Hardy films he was doing. And Judy Garland starred in one year before, Love Finds Andy Hardy. So they were a duo. So, and Judy Garland wasn't as big of a star until she did The Wizard of Oz. So she did these tours with Mickey Rooney to kind of boost morale with The Wizard of Oz.
Mm. And even speaking of injuries, because there's one scene I'm looking at in this Twister scene. I wonder, did she really actually get her head hit here? Where there's a scene where the glass kind of breaks the window. I'm wondering that she looks like I don't know, maybe some good acting or what, but it actually does look like she maybe got popped in the back of the head there. With that.
Maybe. But
Uh,
also Toto, Terry, the King Terry who played Toto, was injured on set. She was a female dog, and she got stepped on by one of the Winky guards.
mm, okay.
And so she had to recuperate for a few weeks at Julia Garland's house, and she actually wanted to adopt Terry, but Terry's trainer and owner was like, "No, I know you have a very special connection with this dog, but it's my dog. It's going to be in other films." It's like the other well-known dog actor was Rin Tin Tin.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it's a cute dog, and I also that's kind of impressive the way the dog is actually able to how they get the dog to follow some of the commands in the movie and have it follow Dorothy, everything like that.
Yeah,
Like that's also pretty kind of impressive there with that. Um, yeah, I guess my favorite sequence of the movie there. I think because I mean this is probably corny kind of choice there, but I do like the over the rainbow. I guess when they do that
yeah.
sequence, I think that
They
was really
wanted to
great.
cut that sequence.
Mm, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they were like, it's slowing the movie down, even though the film had just started. Like it started like the song's like 5 minutes into the movie. So I'm like, what? I mean, if it was like, like 30 minutes in, I maybe, but like also they thought it was not glamorous to have an MGM star sing a song in a barnyard, and I'm like, well, it's Judy Garland. If it was Lana Turner, you guys probably would definitely be saying that. But like the shit they've said about Judy Garland to her face, it shouldn't matter, you know?
Mm. And she does have a gorgeous voice. Julie Garland does have a really good voice here.
Yeah, she was the little girl with the big voice. She had started doing vaudeville since she was like 2 or 3 years old with their two older sisters, but she was the star.
Mm, yeah. And she had a lot of personal kind of demons there. She didn't live to be very long. She passed away at 47 there.
Hmm.
She had two daughters, I believe there.
Yep, and a son. Yeah,
And most of the cast of Wizard of Oz has passed away. I think there maybe you said some munchkins who were like children at the time of this. So, I
yeah,
think
they
maybe so.
still be alive. Maybe I don't know.
So yeah, maybe they're kind of still alive there with that. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I mean, all the great things that have been said about this movie has pretty much been said there with it of how kind of legendary it is. It is in the National Library of Congress there.
Yep.
With that of being, of course, historically significant there. Of course, this movie's going to be in there. With the National Film Registry. With this, and obviously considered one of the greatest films in history there, right up there with stuff like Citizen Kane,
Yeah, it's
Godfather.
funny because it's got like a 98% score on Rotten Tomatoes, and fortunately, what Dick Weed gave it like zero, like low stars for it to have like a low rate, because the whole point of Rotten Tomatoes is that it's an aggregated, so it takes in reviews from like a lot of people like what about old movies? I'm like, well, they bring in those reviews from when those films first came out, so it has like a 90% like on like the critics, but like audience is 89. The hell. And then there are some, film critics from back in the day. They're like, "Oh, this movie, I don't understand it. Like, what's the big deal?" And it's like those film critics ended up not amounting to anything. So they really were like, "This film has no chance of having a legacy." Blah 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 blah. And it's like,
Yeah.
you saying that now that you're dead, huh? Huh? Huh?
So this person gave it 1 star. They said, "Why is the lion's suit a real lion's skin? Total nonsense, distraction from the entire movie." Okay.
What? That's a weird one.
Uh, okay, I don't know if they're trolling or what. But you kind of got that there.
I mean, that was one of the things Burt Lahr, Jack Haley, and Ray Bolger would always like bitch to each other about who had it the worst. I mean, Ray Bolger, the scarecrow makeup permanently lined his face.
Mm.
Which is funny. I mean, Jack Haley, I don't really know if he had any long lasting, but sometimes his eyes got really red, and I noticed that with like the more HD restorations of the film. But Burt Lahr was like a skinnier guy, so he's wearing like a 90-pound suit made of fur. He would have gas on his stomach. He was hot, overheated. He didn't have like the muscles needed to carry that costume. He probably had the worst because he had like the facial makeup that's very thick and then the costume.
This one critic I'm looking at here, he's from the Times UK. He's one of the rotten reviews here. He says the
Oh,
film is no doubt a triumph of Technicolor dexterity and especially of skill and color photography. But what is the issue? What is the use of making Hollyhock out of cellophane, painting it in an ugly color, and then photographing it with complete accuracy? So he gave it
what?
a negative review there for that. Okay.
That's weird.
But yeah, so multiple Oscar winner, considered one of the greatest films there. Do you think newer generations, do you think they also have a somewhat of appreciation? You said millennials do, but what about Gen Z, Gen Alpha of Wizard
Well,
of Oz?
I feel like Wicked probably, if anything, has actually contributed to the lasting impact of the Wizard of Oz. Because of the what is because Wicked is basically like a retcon deep dive into Wizard of Oz lore, and also do a lot of millennials and Gen X's who grew up with the Wizard of Oz have kids now. A lot of them surprisingly do, and they always say that the first film, is the Wizard of Oz that we watch. I mean, the first three films I remember seeing was Wizard of Oz, the first Austin Powers movie, and Titanic.
Mm. And I don't know, maybe people also seen other adaptations of it. I know you
Mhm.
hate this adaptation, this remake,
The Wiz.
the whiz there of it. I think this was maybe my first ever exposure. I haven't seen this movie, but I knew this before I knew Wizard of Oz. I think,
Yeah.
and mainly because probably because of Michael Jackson. I think,
Yeah,
um,
that's the only casting choice that made sense for that movie, honestly.
yeah. I know it kills on Broadway, doesn't it? It does like super well on Broadway. The
I
Wiz.
mean, well, the Wiz opened on Broadway in the '70s, and they really wanted to, like, because also too, part of the reason why the Wiz didn't do so well is that it was a time when black exploitation films were all the rage, and in a weird way, it kind of looks like a black exploitation film because a lot. Now I remember, I'm like, it's too like, it's like it's too silly for adults, but too weird for kids. I mean, stuff's coming alive in the subway, and I was like, now I remember why this movie traumatized me in a weird way. Also, too, Diana Ross is too old to be playing Dorothy. I mean, Stephanie Mills, the original Dorothy, phenomenal. She was like 13 singing Home. Diana Ross doesn't have the vocal strength to sing musical theater. They couldn't even, Quincy Jones couldn't even, like, he didn't even rewrite the songs to make it more like, or the score to make it in Diana Ross's range. Because when Steven Schwartz approached Ariana Grande to do Popular, he was like, I made like a hip hop poppy version for you to sing. And she's like, no, keep it like the show. I'm not singing as Ariana Grande. I'm singing as Glinda. Smart.
I know
I
some
feel
big
like
songs.
if they made Popular into like a poppy hip hop song, I would have walked out.
Okay. And I know, I mean, the Wiz. I like some of the songs. I like "Ease on Down the Road." I like that one. That's a good
Yeah, that's
vibe.
the funky version of "We're Off to See the Wizard" or "Follow the Upper Crow."
So I do like that. Of that. So I think that's pretty good there.
But the fact that the witch was sitting on a toilet the entire time, all you had to do was flush her. Like, really, really, really. I highly recommend these film stage because there was a time where they were doing like these live, TV musicals, like they did it for Jesus Christ Superstar, Beauty and the Beast, Grease. Like the Wiz live is actually really good.
Okay. I've been meaning to see it. I've been meaning to try to get to more Broadway there. And I know they obviously Wicked, obviously that was a humongous success there. Have they ever just done like Broadway with Wizard of Oz? Like, have you gone and seen that before?
Actually, Andrew Lloyd Webber has actually done a stage adaptation of The Wizard of Oz, and it was was in London on the West End.
Okay. And was
Yeah,
that
they did a
greatly
whole
reviewed?
I think it was pretty good. They did a whole show about finding Dorothy. Like in the UK, they do a lot of shows where they're trying to find like stars to star on West End. They did it for Joseph and Made Like a Dreamcoat. They've done it for they did it for the Wizard of Oz. It was kind of like what they did for the Grease revival way back when, back in like 2007, where they're trying to find Sandy and Danny from Grease. So like,
Okay.
yeah.
Man, they kind of made the Scarecrow look like Raggedy Ann, didn't they? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. What the hell, Andrew Lloyd Webber? I wonder if Donald Trump thinks of this show. He's a big Andrew Lloyd Webber fan. That kind of looks like the Wiz, though. Oh, there's Michael Crawford. I forgot Michael Crawford, the original Phantom of the Opera, was the original wizard in The Wizard of Oz on the West End.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Got that there.
Oh, Toto on a leash. Oh, that's another thing they added on Wicked is that Toto's on a leash, and that's another reason why Elphaba hates Dorothy. She's like, you put your dog in a leash? So.
And there's no leash that Dorothy has in the movie of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
So what be your final thoughts rating for Wizard of Oz there?
Honestly, it's peak to me. It's peak.
Not this
And
is
I do
cinema.
like.
You want to do this?
I mean, yeah. I mean, technically, it is cinema. Like, it's phenomenal. I have like no complaints whatsoever. I mean, even Judy Garland, known for her tall tales, appreciated to the very end. I mean,
Okay.
she's like, it's so funny. Like one time, someone approached her in a bathroom. She's like, "Oh, it's so sad that you have to sing over the rainbow all the time. You must hate it." She's like, "Woman, I've had rainbows pulling out of my ass for decades. It's fine." Like it's she understood the importance of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, one of the greatest songs, pretty much ever, I think. And the history of the legacy with that. So yeah, I mean, it's always interesting going back and seeing these classic films there. with it, and going back and looking at the history of it, and then also having you here to tell more about the behind the scenes stuff with this movie and how that's also the crazy kind of production thing that went into all this and getting this all made, the struggle that all these actors faced,
Yeah.
and getting it kind of adapted there. So that's also very interesting just to hear about that, and the lore also with Wizard. I didn't know there was such huge amounts of lore. I didn't really know all that till Wicked came out, that
Yeah.
how expansive the lore was with all of this and all that kind of went into that. So on a budget here, apparently this was a movie that cost $2.8 million.
Yeah.
It ended up making a box office of $29.7 million. I don't know if and this at this time, this was the most expensive production MGM had at the
Hmm.
time of it. Now I don't know, inflation wise, I don't know how much that would be today if you did that now. I didn't crank the numbers with that. But I would also give Wizard of Oz a peek as well, for obviously the contribution to film that it's had. I mean, you can't really underestimate that and speak highly enough about it as well. And this also, you see, this came out with another film giant, Gone with the Wind. Do you think you like Wizard of Oz more than Gone with the Wind?
I love Wizard of Oz more than Gone with the Wind. That movie's too long, and in the book that's based off of is much worse. They sanitize a lot of stuff for the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, my
Um,
mom loves Gone with the Wind. She's like, I've seen it 3 times, and I'm like, okay, that's still a lot for that movie. I
yeah,
never understood the appeal.
4 hours long. 4 hours long. Uh,
Yeah, and yet they were worried about running time for the Wizard of Oz being too long.
Yeah, and this is a brisk running time, Wizard of Oz, an hour and 40 something minutes
Yeah,
with that. But yeah, I see that with Gone with the Wind, massive success there with that
yeah.
$390 million. So
I mean,
yeah,
Clark Gable was already a well-established star, and the ladies love him, and I don't blame him. So
yeah. So two big peaks for Wizard of Oz there. Pretty much on every platform that you can pretty much think of there. If you have HBO Max, it's on HBO Max there. It's one of the benefits of having Max. They do a lot of the Turner Classic Movies there, as well as
mhm.
the Criterion Collection stuff. So that's good if you have that. Where did you? So you just did you have like the Blu-ray of it, and that's how you saw it?
No, I just had it on VHS when I was younger, and that's how I saw it.
Oh, you didn't rewatch it again? You have
Oh, I
diff-
constantly had the VHS, and then I think I had it on DVD too, and then I would watch it on like TCM.
okay, interesting. So yeah. Uh, Thank you. So Dragon says inflation-wise, Wizard of Oz would be in the red with added CGI today. At the time, there was no inflation cost. Ticket sales was cheap there. He said. But thank you, Dragon. Thank you for that, and thank you for showing up, and thank you for the chill spot as well there, and thank you for the follow, Zangief. Yeah. So that we're out of here. Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you for joining me. I
Yeah.
greatly appreciate it. There. Do you have anybody I can raid?
Let's see, because and for those who are in my chat, I'll be also back at like 9 o'clock in a few minutes too, because I'm gonna be decorating my bedroom for Christmas. Let's see who is online right now. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Wow, that's really. Oh, Super Token is on. Brian from the React channel. He's cool.
Okay. I will raid him. Super token there. And you won't be going over there. And Christina will be back 9 p.m. I'll be there. I'll see you
Mm,
decorating the tree there. That'd be very much cool there. I got a
yep.
screening tonight. I gotta go probably pretty soon because I gotta go see Now You
Ooh,
See Me.
yeah.
But all right, everybody, take care. Thank you again, Christina, and stay tuned.
Yep. Hey.
Out of here.